Alright, let's just set up all of this first and foremost. Hello, my name is Rotar, and I'm an idiot on the internet who, well, is just wasting your time just so I can get a point across. Well, if you want that shortened down just a little bit, as you're secretly requesting in the back of your head, I know exactly what you're thinking. I will tell you, I love Dark Souls 3. Now, I'm not talking about Dark Souls 1 or Dark Souls 2 because not only have I not played those games, I'm probably not going to play those games for at least a couple of months. Not until at least I get this whole video worked out and done. I'm recording the voice lines as we speak right now. But I just finished Dark Souls 3. And when I mean Dark Souls 3, I finished it, I mean I have beat Midir, I have beat Gale, I have beat that frickin' Sister Freed or whatever the heck, and I've also beat the Soul of Cinder. I've beaten all of them, and I've officially beaten the game. So I want to not only say my piece about the game itself, but I also want you all to know a little bit about me. So let's do that. When I first heard of Dark Souls, I thought it was a very interesting concept. I really did enjoy the idea of an entire civilization being led by this fire that started and is now fading. I truly found that to be very interesting, in fact, that I picked up Dark Souls 3 and tried it out. But I was young and I was dumb, and I thought that Udic Gundyr would just fall for me. I wouldn't even have to put in much effort. So I struggled and I struggled and I ultimately dropped the game and resented the entire series mainly because I couldn't beat Udic Gundyr. He was too difficult. Now, put away the pitchforks. I changed my mind, obviously. And now I not only loved that aspect, that Udic Gundyr was so difficult that I could not beat him when I first tried out the game, but now that I came back and first tried him, it feels rewarding that all that time that I put into Udic Gundyr actually meant something. That I simply was just needing some time or some extra skill. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I did not actually get back into Dark Souls 3 until I played one of From Software's newly released video games called Elden Ring.
Oh, Jesus, God.
I loved Elden Ring. I unfortunately did not decide to make videos on it and such like that because, well, the game was out for like a good 10 months and I was like, it's what it is. Maybe it's not good content worthy. I do stream it occasionally on Twitch and stuff like that, by the way, plug it. I'm sorry, I just wanted to plug it in. Please leave me on that. But upon me playing Elden Ring and so daringly loving and enjoying it, hating and loving so much about it. I know that's so many loves, but just deal with it. I really never could have thought that I would love a From Software game like I did with Elden Ring. It was packed to the brim, although it never felt bloated. It was so good just to know that you found that one cave that wasn't even marked on the map that you just randomly discovered. It was so cool to finally find that one boss that was hidden amongst some leaves or such, that you tried so desperately to find in that one cave, but you just couldn't for some reason. It was so cool just to know that you could play through all of that and still have so much game left. It was so very interesting. But this is a video about Dark Souls 3, and yeah. We should get to that. After I was done playing Elden Ring, I simply could not explain how crazy it was of an experience. So complex that even now I can't even put into words how magical the experience was. It was such a great game that I needed something more. I could try another playthrough, yeah, but I don't know. I've gotten used to Elden Ring's map and everything that it feels like I'm just going to play through a double whammy again. So, I decided to look through some of my old video games that I bought way back. And I found Dark Souls 3. And at first I found nothing but resentment. In fact, I even questioned why the hell I would even bother playing this game ever. Then I told myself it's just going to be like Elden Ring. Except probably a little less, but, you know, still Elden Ring. But I still didn't go back to it. I didn't. It only took me some encouragement from my friends, actually. And then I decided to go back and try to relink the flames.
The first flame quickly fades. Darkness will shortly settle.
I would have never played Dark Souls 3 if it wasn't for the help of one of my friends, Salami. I hated Dark Souls 3 because of that first initial experience, and I never looked back at that. But Salami, he helped me realize that I could go back and I could do better. And I can do better. And I will do better. He helped me in more ways than I could realize. But I can make this video about me sucking off Salami's dick or about me sucking off Dark Souls 3's dick. So, let's make it about Dark Souls 3. Truth be told, I was shit at the game. Like, I'm assuming a lot of people. Even when I played Elden Ring, I had very above average knowledge on how the games will work and how everything goes. But even to this day, I'm still figuring out new things about Dark Souls 3. Like, I didn't even know there was a kick. I didn't even know I could kick someone. Like, what the fuck? And that's not even like some kind of special attack on a weapon. You could just literally kick people. I mean, what? Since when the hell was that in there? And why the fuck am I now realizing that after I killed my dear frickin' sister Freed and also the Soul of Cinder? What the hell? What's wrong with me? But even when I came back and had all that experience from Elden Ring, I was still very shit. Dark Souls 3 was far more difficult than Elden Ring. I could say that confidently because, in my opinion, it is. I'm going to share a very deep secret that I really want to tell you all. I beat Melania Blade of Mikola on my 3rd try. While for Midir, it was like my 6th or 4th try if you're counting summons for friends and all that, like Phone of Friends. And freaking hell, even the goddamn Nameless King, that shit took so many tries that I don't even remember how many times it took. Like, it was so many that I completely forgot. So, the fact that the hardest boss of Elden Ring was taken out on my 3rd try and that the freaking Nameless King was beyond numbers amount of tries that I don't even remember it should really put into perspective how difficult this game was for me. Now, I loved Elden Ring not because of its difficulty, but because of its world, its characters, its magic, its abilities, its ultimate form of customization, which is that there's no restrictions. You could do what you want with what you want. You want to be literally everything? Guess what? It's gonna fucking take a good minute, but you can. You could literally do anything you fucking want in that goddamn game, and it's cool as fuck. So, to come over to Dark Souls 3, it was different. Dark Souls 3 doesn't limit you in most ways, except for the map, but it does so much that I simply just can't fathom. It is so crazy to me to think that this game was made by the same people that made Elden Ring. Now, that's not to say it's bad or to say that it's even inferior to Elden Ring, although I do feel that in some way, but it's not big enough that it's, you know, a big deal. But I never truly felt the challenge of Dark Souls 3. It felt just like Elden Ring until I got to the freaking Lordran or Godric or what's that shit? It was like the dude that just keep teleporting his freaking brother and stuff like that all over the place, and they just used like a bunch of crazy ass attacks and stuff like that. I forgot their name actually. Anyway, up to that point, I never realized how difficult the game was. I mainly had struggles with the mob characters, not the bosses themselves. Hell, I usually just beat them on my first try. Like the frickin' Pontiff, he was first tried instantly. I was down at least 2 Estus, and I don't remember how much I had. But I knew that I did not have a lot going into it. And if I was to survive it, I had to kill him. And I did it, first try. The Abyss Watchers, first try. The frickin', the Demon King? Yeah, first try. All those bosses, first try. But that prince, though, he got me in a jiffy that I ultimately did not like. Now, don't get me wrong, I loved that boss fight. It was crazy and it was epic. I loved everything about it. But up to that point, I felt like From Software was just giving me the wins. Like I did not have to earn it. I don't remember the Demon King's attack patterns. I don't remember Pontiff's patterns. I don't even remember the Dancer's patterns. I don't remember any of theirs. I don't know what their special gimmick is or what they do, but those princes, you put me up against them. Not only will I tell you all their movesets, not only will I tell you all their little special gimmicks and everything, I will give you an in-depth detail about their lore. Thank you, Vati, for giving me basically everything on Dark Souls. You are truly a masterpiece treasure, and we do not deserve you. And same goes for the Soul of Cinder and the Nameless King, and Midir, and also Sister Fried. Am I missing anyone? I mean, the thing is about Gale, I also beat him on my, I beat him on my second try, actually. Holy shit, I beat Midir and Gale in this exact same day. I just want to point that out. But yeah, no, I beat them and everything like that. I did all that, and I did everything. I don't know where I'm getting at. And for all of those bosses, they were actually challenging. I am not afraid to admit, but I lost my first boss battle with Sister Fried on her second phase. Her first phase was actually very simple. It was like a gimmick, in all honesty. Like, it was just there to hold you back for a couple of seconds, and then boom, you actually get the real challenges. But for other bosses like Midir, the Soul of Cinder, and those goddamn prince assholes, those actually posed a very significant challenge. I had to actually look at their attacks and their strategies and everything like that. Like that weird charge attack that Midir does. Honest to God, it is so difficult to figure it out. But once you know precisely what he does, boom. You are not only untouchable, but you just figured out one of his great weaknesses. Is that he barely tilts his head and just lowers his body. Like, what the fuck kind of... what is that? You're under his fucking body most of the time. How the hell am I supposed to figure out all that shit? And don't get me started on those fucking weird-ass goddamn freaking soul attacks that he just tosses on the ground. But ultimately, I love Dark Souls 3. Mainly because of the challenge it gave me, the story it gave me, and honest to God, the inspirations. I like to think of myself as a creative type person. I like to take things that other people show off and add my own little fluff to them, you know? I like to create things that not a lot of people will see, obviously, and I just find that so cool, that an entire series like Dark Souls is completely yours. It was made by Miyazaki, yes. An entire group of people came together to build this game from their own images, yes. But ultimately, you get to decide it. And I love that aspect of the Souls-like games, is that it doesn't matter what happens in the end. It is your choice. You get to decide that fate. You get to decide what happens to everyone in the game. And it's crazy to think how powerful these games are, simply because of that. And I loved those concepts like hollowing. It was so interesting to watch the Actman's video and him just straight up say, oh, well, if you hollow, it's basically like you giving up. I loved that idea. Holy shit. And the fact that how packed the game is with lore. Sure, there are little things in the lore that really can't be explained that well without just saying, oh, it's a game mechanic. But so much about the Souls series is explained by the lore. The bonfires, Estus, the frickin' undead curse, and the frickin' hollowing. It's crazy to me. that even so much detail as you quitting the game has so much details into it. Now, it is an actual, like, main aspect in the story. Characters do go hollow in the game and stuff like that, but it's still crazy just to think about that. Dark Souls 3 was intense. It gives me so much to think about, and I love so much about that. To me, it doesn't make any sense how such great games and such great community, as much as I feared it for so much of my life, I can't believe how Dark Souls is real. How everything about it is real. How From Software is real. Truth be told, I heard that Dark Souls 3 had ended and everything like that. I was never truly attached to the series, but I always love to hear people's opinions on the games itself. So to hear that they finally got that end and that they're not ready for that, I couldn't truly connect to that, and now I do. From Software is a really great company. When they released Elden Ring, a lot of people, not including myself, I didn't really care about the company as a whole at that moment, really were expecting From Software to drop the ball. And I knew a couple of people that actually were expecting that. But not only did From Software raise the ball to such high levels that not even we as gamers could expect, but it fueled so much people to venture back and get more attached into these games and stuff like that. It also gave us a lot more memes. I probably would have never gone back into the Souls series if I had no idea about Elden Ring. And I'm glad that I did not only spend $60 US just to get the game, but that I played through it. And I went back and played Dark Souls 3. So, thank you for not only watching this, but thank you From Software for giving me such an experience that not only can I never forget, it will continue to impact my life and give me thoughts and opinions that I would have never, ever had in my life. But I feel like we're going on a little bit, so let's get to the final part. Dark Souls 3 is an experience that I will never forget. Unless if I get in some kind of accident that literally wipes my memory. But until that happens, or hopefully it never happens, I will always remember Dark Souls 3 for a great masterpiece that it is. Truth be told, in my eyes, it is a gift sent from an unknown being in an unknown way in an unknown void. Some people like to say God and such, and who knows, you could compare it that way, but if you don't believe in that such, then I don't know how else to assist you in trying to get you into my head. But I have done everything in Dark Souls 3, except for finding all the goddamn covenants. How the fuck do you do all that shit? But alas, it doesn't matter. And I've never felt so passionate to play a video game before in my life. There are great video games in this world, like Call of Duty Black Ops 2, or fucking Left 4 Dead 2, or Dark Souls 2. No, I'm fucking kidding. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that just to fuck with y'all. But seriously, I play great video games. I love great video games, and I've played a lot of shit video games. And ultimately, I really never think that there could be a game as great as Dark Souls 3. In truth, I think that it's truly beyond masterpiece. As if it all fit the right criterias and such. I will always love Dark Souls 3 for that level of resentment it gave me, because never before has a game ever drawn me as far away as Dark Souls 3, and then yet somehow managed to just bring me right back in. So long later, it was nice. It was refreshing. It was great. And even now, I'm wondering, what the fuck did I just play? It was a crazy ass experience, and I will never, ever forget it. So, thank you, From Software. Thank you, Dark Souls 3. Thank you, Elden Ring. And thank you all for watching. And I really, really hope you all have a very great day. Now, if you all don't mind, I'm going to take a little nap.